Telly Savalas admits, "She was the only one who could do that to me." At your advanced age of 72, Aristoteles Telly Savalas came into this world in Garden City, New York on January 21, 1922. That's where Telly Savalas was born. His upbringing in a traditional, disciplined, and resilient home as the son of Greek immigrants molded his character and set the tone for his career. Despite the many obstacles he faced on his way to Hollywood, Savalas exemplified the virtue of perseverance. He worked his way through high school, college, and even served in the United States Army during WWWR before attending Columbia University to study psychology. While he did some work with the United States Department of State's Information Service, in his early years, he finally followed his passion for acting and broadcasting and found success in both fields. Telly Savalas's 1959 appearance in And Bring Home a Baby, an episode of Armstrong Circle Theater, was his big break into professional acting. This CBS program gave Savalas her foot in the door of the television industry with its reputation for dramatizations of real-life events. Even at this early point in his life, Telly was not widely known. While the business was cutthroat, but in this supporting part, he displayed the charisma and charismatic presence that would come to characterize his career. From little parts on television to being one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. The opportunity was a turning point. The discipline and self-assurance he would need for his lengthy and fruitful acting career were shaped here as he began to understand the cadence and requirements of screen acting. By acting as a guest star in a plethora of popular series from 1959 to 1967, Savalas painstakingly amassed an impressive television resume. Naked City was one of these grim urban dramas. Breaking Point and The 11th Hour were two medical and psychological series, while The Untouchables, The Fugitive, and The FBI were criminal shows. He was featured in chick espionage thrillers like The Man from UNCLE and Western classics like Bonanza. From complex supporting characters to tough criminals, he was able to test out a wide range of character types in each appearance, showcasing his ability to hold an audience's attention despite his brief screen time. During this time, Savalas refined his technique, being known for his ability to portray nuanced danger, charisma, and intensity. He became known to producers and directors as a dependable and adaptable actor who could elevate any film he was a part of thanks to the many roles he played. One of Savalas's early recurrent roles was that of Brother Hendrickson in the hit private detective show 77 Sunset Strip. Two charming private investigators in Los Angeles solved crimes in this series that was popular in the 50s and 60s and featured a healthy dose of humor, mystery, and suspense. In his part as Brother Hendrickson, Savalas showcased a talent that would serve him well in his later, more difficult role as the ability to delicately blend dramatic and humorous timing. In addition, he proved he could switch gears from urban drama to action-oriented adventure with his performances in Acapulco, an NBC adventure series that delved into faraway places and global intrigue. This further diversified his cinematic experience. Savalas's portrayal of Pontius Pilate in George Stevens's 1965 epic, The Greatest Story Ever Told, was a remarkable example of his attention to accuracy and his art. He took the risk of shaving his head clean for the part, giving himself the signature bald appearance that would become instantly recognizable as his own. Not only did he show his physical dedication to his roles in this decision, but he also showed a willingness to embrace daring visual modifications to stay true to his characters. Playing Pontius Pilate, a crucial person in the account of Jesus' death, gave Savalas the opportunity to demonstrate his ability to manage intricate, prominent film roles with his television work. The role demanded him to convey authority, moral turmoil, and gravitas. His ascent to Hollywood celebrity began with this performance, which catapulted him from the realm of television acting to that of respected presence in big motion pictures. Savalas's ascent to stardom was gradual and remarkable. Even though he didn't break into acting until much later in life, he had a deep voice and an intense glare that were well suited to the roles of villains and tough guys he frequently played in the early 1960s. His work in films like 1961's The Young Savages and 1962's Birdmen of Alcatraz, for which he was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, established him as a major actor. These parts highlighted his talent for giving nuance and sympathy to characters, no matter how cold or complicated their moral compass. The Dirty Dozen 1967, Kelly's Heroess 1970, and Her Majesty's Secret Service, a 1969, were all noteworthy appearances by Savalas throughout the decade, as was his portrayal of James Bond's renowned villain Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Savalas became a household name because, to television, he joined the cast of the 1973 CBS crime drama Kojak as the magnetic investigator Theo Kojak, based in New York City. His reputation as a global superstar was solidified by the show, which aired for 5 seasons until 1978. One of the most iconic figures in American television history was brought to life by Savalas, who crafted a character that would live on with his ever-present lollipop, fashionable attire, and catchphrase, Oz. Not only was Kojak entertaining, but it also tackled socially aware subjects like drug abuse, corruption, and poverty with a raw realism that was unprecedented. He won 2 awards for the role, an Emmy and a Golden Globe, cementing his status as a highly esteemed actor from his time. The fact that Savalas continued to play the part in subsequent hit TV movies after the show ended is evidence that the character was an integral part of his career. Telly Savalas was well known for his musical endeavors in addition to his acting career. His surprisingly calming voice propelled him to stardom in the recording industry, and he found success in Europe with CDs that combined singing and spoken word. As proof of his widespread appeal, in 1975 he hit #1 on the UK singles chart with his rendition of If by Bread, performed in his distinctive style. In addition to his magnetic screen presence, Savalas possessed a special gift for connecting with fans via his voice, which radiated a gentler side than his frequently stern on-screen image. Telly Savalas wed Catherine Nicolaides, his college sweetheart and longtime girlfriend, in 1948. They had known each other for a long time before agreeing to tie the knot. Thus their relationship had been going strong since they were young. This union mirrored the cultural and societal norms of the time, which valued stability and the aspiration to start a family after navigating the challenges of college and entering the workforce. They were married for almost 10 years, but problems arose that they couldn't overcome, and they eventually filed for divorce in 1957. Their bond and shared history didn't help matters. In the years that followed, Savalas's perspective on relationships and family life was undoubtedly shaped by his early experiences with love and separation, which had a significant influence on his personal development and emotional resilience. Marilyn Gardner was a gifted theater teacher whose enthusiasm for the arts and education matched Telly Savalas's evolving interests in performance and entertainment. The couple wed in 1960, marking Savalas's second marriage. Their partnership resulted in the birth of 2 children, fostering an atmosphere within the family that fostered innovation, self-control, and drive. They dealt with the stresses of Savalas's burgeoning acting career in Hollywood, seeking to strike a harmony between one's public life and their private family times. Their children brought them immense joy and their shared commitment to the marriage. But eventually, divisions and personal difficulties surfaced, and in 1974, they decided to separate. During this time in his life, Savalas showed how he could love deeply, no matter how tough things became, and how difficult it was to juggle a prominent job with caring for a family. Telly Savalas entered a new phase of his personal life marked by stability and recommitment in 1984 with the marriage of his third wife, Julie Hovland. They had 2 children together, which increased Savalas' responsibilities as a parent and highlighted his commitment to his family in his golden years. An understanding of cooperation based on mutual respect, shared objectives, and life experience was evident in this marriage. Providing a loving home for their children, Hovland became a supportive figure as Savalas pursued his acting career, which included his legendary roles on television. Their shared history exemplified Savalas's capacity to form and sustain lasting bonds with those around him, while also shedding light on his own development as a person, revealing his resiliency, progress, and the search for joy in the company of loved ones. At 72 years old, the legendary actor Telly Savalas, who was instantly recognizable by his distinctive bald head and gravelly voice, took an uncommonly open moment to discuss the one person who had the power to touch him emotionally. With an air of adoration, nostalgia, and respect, Savalas said that no one else could have done that to him. Many viewers were taken aback by the confession because Savalas was known for his portrayal of authority figures, detectives, and mobsters in numerous films and television shows, including the renowned Kojak. On the other hand, this was the first place anyone had ever seen him in a more vulnerable, gentler light. He seems to have been profoundly affected by the woman he mentioned, Stephanie Powers, who was an outstanding actress with a captivating personality and a luminous aura of charisma. Savalas continued by saying that she had a special talent for getting past his infamously icy demeanor. Although they enjoyed an unusual level of emotional closeness, he reflected that no one had ever touched him quite like she had. He reflected on times when her unique influence on his life was most apparent. A time of unexpected compassion and joy, and discussions that impacted him deeply. The fact that power had such a profound impact on Savalas, a man who had spent decades projecting an air of self-assurance and dominance, was both shocking and indicative of the extent to which power had permeated his being. He went into detail about how their connection was multi-faceted, stressing that it was built on deep mutual respect and understanding rather than being superficial or romantic. According to him, she was able to see through me. She could tell when I was being my typical macho, wall-eyed self. Still, she remained resolute. She had a special knack for making me feel heard and understood. Despite his renown, awards, and larger-than-life public persona, there were times when he depended on human connection to feel genuinely alive. These statements exposed a rare weakness for a guy whose reputation was characterized by strength and independence. The larger topic of intimacy and trust was also alluded at by Savalas' remarks, especially in the lives of those who are always in the spotlight. Finding someone who could truly penetrate the defenses he had constructed over the years was truly remarkable for an actor who was always surrounded by friends, colleagues, and admirers. He pondered that it went beyond simple feelings of love or appreciation. It was a more profound feeling, one that allowed me to let my guard down and be myself, the real Telly. His confession, however brief, was profoundly meaningful because it provided an unprecedented window into the inner workings of the emotional life of a powerful figure in Hollywood. Lastly, there was a hint of melancholy in the air, as if to emphasize how transient these uncommon relationships are. Something about Savalas's voice conveyed a hint of melancholy as he spoke, as if to say that moments like these are fleeting and precious. After meeting her, he confessed he doubted he would ever meet anyone like. That kind of impact would never be possible with anybody else. Savalas shared a profound truth about his relationship with Stephanie Powers in those few comments, but he also shared a truth about love, vulnerability, and the incredible influence that one person can have on another's life. After a protracted fight with complications from prostate and bladder cancer, Telly Savalas finally succumbed to his illness on January 25, 1994, at the age of 72. Universal City, California's Sheraton Universal Hotel, where he had become more than a transient resident, was the site of his death. He lived there for the final 20 years of his life. During that time, Savalas became an enduring fixture at the hotel, rechristening the bar Telly's in his honor, due to his heavy use of the establishment's social areas. His larger-than-life attitude, charm, and unfailing presence won over the hearts of hotel employees, customers, and friends who would congregate there, and this memorial reflected that. As Savalas grew older, the Sheraton became something of a stage for him, where he could keep up the charisma and charismatic performance that had brought him fame in the first place. After Savalas passed away, his remains were laid to rest in the Hollywood Hills Cemetery, specifically in the George Washington area of Forest Lawn, Los Angeles, California. The inclusion of Savalas in this cemetery, which is famous as the last resting place of many Hollywood greats from the Golden Age, was a reflection of his fame. Because of Savalas's lifelong devotion to the Greek Orthodox faith and his pride in his Greek ancestry, his funeral was a very private and touching ceremony that took place in St. Sophia Greek Orthodox Church, honoring the connection they had shared their entire lives. His brother Gus and third wife Julie, with whom he had spent the last decade of his life, were there at the funeral to provide familial support. In a testament to the strong bonds he kept with his extended family, even after his divorces, Savalas's first two wives, Marilyn and Catherine, were present at the funeral with their children.